Alright, so here's the review for our test. The review and the test are very similar, okay? So similar, I may have only changed one thing, but that does not mean the answers are going to be the exact same. So it's very important that you actually do your review, okay? And that you understand what's going on here, okay? So let's look at this, okay? Which graph best represents the solution set y is greater than negative 4x plus, y is greater than negative 4x, okay? Now, if you're familiar with y and mx plus b, okay, m is the slope, which is rise over run, and then b is the y-intercept. Now, if we have y greater than negative 4x, if there's nothing here, that means your y-intercept is 0, okay? So it needs to go through the point 0 on the y-axis, 0, 0. So if I'm looking at all these graphs, the only ones that go through 0, 0 are C and B. A and D do not work, okay? Now, negative 4x is really negative 4 over 1, right? A whole number can be over 1. And that means negative 4 over 1 means down 4, right 1. Cool. So, I see letter C and letter B go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. That works. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. That works. Okay. So now C and B have both correct lines, but the question is which one's right. Now, if you look at the lines, okay, we have a solid line and a dashed line. Dashed. Okay. Well, which one's which? Well, let me tell you, okay? If it's solid, that's going to be less than or equal or greater than equal. Okay? It's going to have this underlined little section here, okay? But if it's dashed, okay, it's going to be just the inequality, okay? So, you could think of solid is underlined, dashed, not underlined. Okay, so this information right here is super important to this problem, okay? Because if you look at it, it's greater than, and it's not underlined. Okay, so if it's not underlined, I look down here, not underlined means it's dashed. So I'm looking for a dashed line because we are dealing with this one right here. Cool. So between C and B, which one is not underlined, which one is dashed? Well, it's not going to be C. Okay, it's got to be letter B. C would be correct if it was greater than or equal, if it had the little underline underneath the inequality. Okay. Number 2, which ordered pair is in the solution set of this? Now, there's 2 ways to do this. Okay, you can actually plot all these points, negative 6, 1, negative 1, 6, 6, negative 1, 1, negative 6. You could plot all these points, and then you could do, figure out the mx plus b. If the m is 1/3, that's rise 1, run 3. And then negative 5 is your y-intercept. So you could put a point at negative 5, rise 1, run 3. And since it's less than, it's dashed, because it's not underlined. So you can put a dashed line through this. And since it's less than, you shade below. Less is below, okay? So if I shade below, I can see the only point that is shaded below is point D, okay? Now, that's one way to do this. That's not the way I taught you though, okay? The way I taught you is to do it this way, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take each of these answer choices, okay? A, B, C, D. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace x and y with x and y in these ordered pairs. Okay, so let's start with A. Y value is 1, so 1 less than 1/3 x, which is -6, so parentheses -6 minus 5. Okay, so remember, if you type this into your calculator, it'll tell you if it's true or false. Okay, so 1, and then the less than sign is right here. Control equals, less than is right there. 1 less than 1, control divide 3, go to the right, parentheses -6 minus sign 5. Okay, remember that's a negative sign 6 and that's a minus sign 5. So remember, negative sign 6 minus sign 5. Okay, but anyways, type that in, hit enter, false. Okay, F. So not A. Okay, I'm going to write these other ones a little bit quicker here. So the y value is 6 less than 1/3. The x value is -1 in parentheses minus 5. So let's type that in. Okay, I type this one in, I hit enter, it's another false. Doesn't work. Okay, let's write the next one. Y, which is -1, less than 1/3 x. X is 6, so put that in parentheses, minus 5. So once again, I want to type that in. Negative sign 1, control equals, less than sign, 1, control divide 3, go to the right, parentheses 6, parentheses, minus sign 5. Hit enter, it's another false. Okay, doesn't work out. We know the answer is D already from doing it this way, but let's see what happens when I write it and type it in. So again, the y value is -6, less than 1/3 x, so less than 1/3, and instead of x we put 1 minus 5. Let's type it in. Negative sign 6, control equals, less than 1, control divide 3, go to the right, parentheses 1, minus sign 5. It's true. Okay, this one's true, this one's right. Cool. So again, you could either graph it, but since this is virtual, it's going to be hard to graph it without graph paper. So I suggest evaluating the points, plugging in the values. Okay, rewrite them out, plug in x and y, type it in, enter, true is correct. Okay. Now, number 3. Which graph best represents the solution of this graph? Cool. All right, so remember, this is my M, this is my B, so this is my slope, which is going to rise down 3, right 2. Okay, -3/2 means down 3, right 2. And then that means that 9 my y-intercept. That's where it hits the y-axis. So let's look for that y-intercept at 9. Okay, 9, 9, 9, 9. All of them have a good y-intercept. Now let's look at the slope. Down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. A cannot be right. The line isn't going the right way. Down 3, right 2. Okay, C is okay. Down 3, right 2. B does not work. That point is not on the line. And then D, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, so we're down to 2. C and D both have a slope of -3/2. They both have a y-intercept of 9. But let's look at the inequality, right? So this, there's no underline. So that means it is dashed. And since it's a greater than sign, it's going to be shaded above. Okay? Because greater means up, right? So, let's look at it. Which one of these two has a dashed line shaded above? Well, D is shaded below, and it's not dashed. So it's got to be C, dashed, shaded above. Perfect, okay? All right, now down here. Which point satisfies the inequality? Y is greater than or equal to 10 plus 2x. Again, you want to evaluate these using this inequality, okay? So A, instead of y, I'm going to put -1 greater than or equal to 10 plus 2, and instead of x, I'm going to put 1. For B, 2 greater than or equal to 10 plus 2, and the x value is -1. C is 6 greater than or equal to 10 plus 2, the x value is -3. And then D, 2 greater than or equal to 10 plus 2, the x value is 1. Okay? Now, all I did was rewrite this inequality, plugging in x and y, these ordered pairs, for A, B, C, and D. Now all you got to do is plug it in the calculator. Okay? So -1 greater than or equal to 10 plus 2 parentheses 1. Is it true? False. Okay. 2 greater than or equal to 10 plus 2 parentheses -1. Another false. 6 control equals greater than or equal to 10 plus 2 parentheses -3. Another, oh, that was not another one. That is true. True. Yeah. All right, and then let's just plug in the last one to make sure we haven't messed up here. 2 greater than or equal to 10 plus 2 parentheses 1. False. Sorry, you can't see that. False. Can't be beat. Okay, so again, if you can plug them in the calculator, you rewrite this with x and y, plug it in. One of them will say true. That's the answer. Okay. Number 5. Okay. Now, we got to solve this thing. I'm going to rewrite it over here. 3t plus 12 greater than or equal to -9. Okay. Now, what we want to do is solve for t. So if I'm going to solve this, do I get rid of the 3 or the 12 first? Well, I want to get rid of the loner. What's the opposite of plus 12? -12, -12. That cancels out. Bring down 3t greater than or equal to -9 minus 12 is -21. If you're not sure, negative sign 9 minus sign 21. Sorry, 12. -21. Okay. And then to get rid of this 3 in front of t, that's being multiplied. The opposite of multiplying is divide on both sides by 3. So t greater than or equal to, and -21 divided by 3 gives me -7. And it might be hard to see the negative sign, but it's there. Okay. -7. So this is t greater than or equal. Now that means the circle, since it's equal, is going to be shaded in, and greater means it's going to go to the right, the greater numbers, starting at -7. So let's find -7. Okay, -7 is over here, all the way down. Now, look at C and D. -7 is not where the point is. Okay, so get rid of those. And now we want it to be shaded in, going to the right. So it's got to be, can't be B, that's going to the left. It's got to be A, shaded in, going to the right. But you have to solve this first, and you cannot. There is no way to end-solve inequalities, okay? You can end-solve it with an equal sign, okay, but you may not know what the inequality is. Sometimes they flip. I wouldn't do that. All right, number 6, same idea. we can solve it from here. If I'm solving for y, do I get rid of the 2 or the minus 7 first? The lower. Minus 7. What's the opposite of minus 7? Plus 7. Plus 7. So bring down 2y. Bring down the inequality, less than or equal to. 3 plus 7 is 10. Last step, to get y by itself. 2 is a coefficient that's being multiplied, so we always think of the inverse operation. The opposite of multiplying is to divide. We're going to divide on both sides by that coefficient 2. 2's cancel out, so I'm left with y less than or equal to, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now, this is less than, because it's going like that, and since it's underlined, it's or equal. So again, if it's equal, we're going to have a circle shaded in, not open, and then less means it's going to go to the left. Less than, left, both start with an L. Okay. Now, let's look for positive 5. Positive 5 is right here. So the only one that doesn't have a point at positive 5 is A, so we'll see you later. And now we want to find shaded in circles, which would be not letter C. Open circle, it does not work for us. Okay? It has to be going to the left. So less than left, that'll have to be not B, it'll have to be letter D. Okay? Cool. All right, number 7. Which order pair is a solution to the linear inequality? Okay, so once again, our calculator can help us. Let's rewrite this inequality y, which is 3, greater than 5x, which is 1, plus 3. Let's see if that's true or false. Let's write the other ones. Y, which is 4, greater than 5x, greater than 5. X value is 0. Don't forget the plus 3. And then last, y is 1, greater than 5x, which is also 1. Don't forget the plus 3. So let's type these in the calculator and see which one gives us the right answer. 3, control equals, greater than 5 parentheses 1 plus 3. False. F. Okay. Let's do the next one. 4, control divide. Sorry, control equals 5 parentheses 0 plus 3. True. And let's do the last one real quick. 1, control equals greater than 5 parentheses 1 plus 3 is false. Okay. You can do those. Now, this one says, how do you write in words y and then this symbol 5? Okay. Now that is a greater than sign. And since it's not underlined, it's not equal. Okay. So it's not less, but it's also not underlined, so it's not equal. So just greater than, so that'll be greater than, letter B, okay? Y is greater than 5. If it was, so again, this is less, this is greater, underlines are equal, and equal to, or equal to. All right, number 9, which inequality is represented by the graph? Okay, well, we can see on the options we have X. We see we have a shaded in circle, so it's going to be underlined, and since it's going to the left, it's going to be less than this number right here, which would be -7, between -8 and -6. So the answer's got to be letter A, right? So everything else is a distractor there. And then last but not least, number 10, which inequality is represented by the phrase you can spend at most $18. Now, can you spend it all? Yes. So that's going to be, it can be equal, but if 18 is the most you can spend, then that's the most means it's got to be you can spend less than. Okay, so you can only spend less than 18. That's all you got. But you can spend all of it, so it can also be equal. So less than or equal. Okay, not just less than, and definitely you can't spend more than what you have. So less than or equal to 18, which is going to be letter B. All right, your test tomorrow is very similar to this. Okay, so please go over this, study it, and have it for tomorrow. It'll really help you out. All right.